8 minutes. That's how long it took for Iran to destroy over $120 million worth of American air power and kill multiple U.S. service members in a double shoot-down that just redefined this entire war. April 3rd, 2026, approximately 14:22 local time, an American F-15E Strike Eagle, one of the most advanced multi-role fighter jets in the U.S. arsenal, was ripped out of the sky over Khuzestan Province by Iranian air defense systems. The two-man crew ejected. A rescue operation launched immediately. An A-10 Warthog, the legendary close air support aircraft built specifically to survive ground fire and extract personnel from hostile territory, scrambled to the crash site. It never made it back. Iranian surface-to-air missiles tracked the rescue plane, locked on, and blew it out of the sky over the Persian Gulf. The pilot is confirmed dead. The fate of the F-15 crew remains unknown. This is the first time the United States has lost 2 fighter aircraft in a single engagement since Operation Desert Storm in 1991, and it happened in 8 minutes. The implications are catastrophic. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what Iranian weapon systems were used to execute this double kill, why the A-10 rescue mission turned into a death trap, and the specific intelligence failure that allowed Iran to track and destroy both aircraft. I'll break down the cost differential that makes this engagement a strategic nightmare for the Pentagon, and I'll explain why losing air superiority over the Persian Gulf means the entire American operational plan for this war just collapsed. The mainstream media is showing you wreckage and calling it an isolated incident. What I'm about to show you is a fundamental shift in the balance of military power in the Middle East. Let's get into it. Here's what we know happened. At approximately 14:22 local time on April 3rd, U.S. Central Command confirmed that an F-15E Strike Eagle operating over southwestern Iran was engaged by what they described as Advanced Integrated Air Defense Systems. The aircraft was participating in Operation Epic Fury, the joint U.S.-Israeli campaign that has been pounding Iranian military infrastructure for the past 5 weeks. The F-15E was likely conducting a strike package delivery or providing escort for bombers hitting targets deeper inside Iran. Iranian state media reported the shoot-down within minutes, claiming the aircraft was destroyed over Khuzestan Province, the oil-rich region bordering Iraq that has been a primary zone of conflict throughout this war. The F-15E Strike Eagle is not a cheap airplane. Unit cost sits at approximately $31 million per aircraft, but when you factor in avionics, weapon systems, radar packages, and the training investment for a 2-man crew, you're looking at closer to $50 million in total loss per plane. This is a 4th-generation multi-role fighter capable of air-to-air combat and precision ground strikes. It flies at speeds exceeding Mach 2.5, carries up to 23,000 pounds of ordnance, and it is equipped with some of the most sophisticated electronic warfare systems in the American inventory. It's designed to penetrate enemy airspace, evade surface-to-air threats, and survive. On April 3rd, it didn't. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps announced the kill using what they identified as domestically produced air defense systems. Now, this is where it gets critical. Iran operates a layered air defense network that combines Russian-supplied S-300 systems, upgraded domestically to S-400 equivalent capability in some configurations, with indigenous platforms like the Bavar 373, Iran's answer to the S-300 that was unveiled in 2019. The Bavar 373 has a claimed engagement range of 300 kilometers and can track up to 100 targets simultaneously while engaging 6. Its Sayyad 4B interceptor missile flies at speeds approaching Mach 5 and carries a 60-kilogram warhead designed specifically to defeat modern fighter aircraft and cruise missiles. Here's the detail that should terrify Pentagon planners. The F-15E was likely operating with full electronic warfare countermeasures active. It would have been jamming enemy radar, deploying chaff and flare decoys, maneuvering evasively. None of it worked. Iranian systems tracked it, locked on, and killed it. That means either Iranian radar technology has advanced beyond what U.S. intelligence estimated, or American electronic warfare capabilities are no longer sufficient to defeat modern integrated air defense networks. Either answer is a strategic disaster. Now, the first shoot-down is devastating enough. What happened next turned it into a catastrophe. Standard protocol when an American aircraft goes down in hostile territory is immediate combat search and rescue. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, also known as the Warthog, is specifically designed for this mission. It's a heavily armored close air support aircraft built around a 30mm Gatling gun that can shred ground targets. Its titanium bathtub cockpit can withstand direct hits from 23mm cannon fire. It flies low and slow, providing cover for downed pilots while extraction teams move in. On April 3rd, an A-10 launched from a forward operating base, likely Al Udeid in Qatar or a facility in Kuwait, and headed toward the F-15 crash site. Iranian forces were waiting. The A-10 was engaged over the Persian Gulf, approximately 40 kilometers from the Khuzestan coastline. Iranian coastal defense systems, possibly the Talish missile system, which is specifically designed for low-altitude threats, tracked the Warthog as it approached. The A-10's slow speed, which makes it effective for close air support, made it an easy target for radar-guided missiles. The aircraft was hit and went down into the Persian Gulf. The pilot's body was recovered by Iranian naval forces. U.S. Central Command confirmed the loss hours later. Here's the math that keeps Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin awake at night. An F-15E costs approximately $50 million when fully equipped. An A-10 costs roughly $20 million per airframe. The training investment for 3 highly experienced pilots, each representing years of flight school, tactical training, and operational experience, adds another $10 to $15 million in sunk cost per pilot. You're looking at $120 million minimum in direct losses from this single engagement. The Iranian missiles that killed both aircraft cost somewhere between $500,000 and $2 million each, depending on the system. Iran spent less than $5 million to destroy $120 million worth of American air power. That's a 24-to-1 cost advantage favoring the defender. And the problem compounds. The United States cannot replace fighter pilots quickly. Training a fully qualified F-15E weapon systems officer takes approximately 18 months minimum. Replacing the aircraft themselves requires production time, budget allocation, and congressional approval. Meanwhile, Iran manufactures missiles domestically at a rate that U.S. intelligence estimates at over 100 per month. The arithmetic of this war does not favor the side-flying $50 million airplanes into the range of $2 million missiles. But the cost differential is not even the worst part. What happened over Khuzestan on April 3rd reveals something far more dangerous. The United States has lost air superiority over the Persian Gulf. And once you lose air superiority, every other operation in your military playbook becomes exponentially more difficult and expensive. Let me explain what losing air superiority actually means. Since Operation Desert Storm in 1991, American military doctrine has operated on a fundamental assumption that U.S. forces will control the airspace over any battlefield. Air superiority allows close air support for ground troops, precision strikes on enemy infrastructure, electronic warfare dominance, intelligence gathering, and most critically, the ability to conduct search and rescue operations without losing the rescue aircraft. On April 3rd, that assumption died over the Persian Gulf. Iranian air defense networks have now demonstrated the capability to track, target, and destroy American fighter aircraft operating in contested airspace. More importantly, they've shown they can do it fast enough to catch rescue operations before extraction teams arrive. That changes everything. Every American pilot flying missions over or near Iran now knows that if they get hit and eject, the rescue bird coming for them might not make it. That psychological shift affects mission planning, risk tolerance, and operational tempo. Pilots become more cautious. Missions get scaled back. The entire air campaign slows down. And this is happening at exactly the wrong time for the United States. Operation Epic Fury has been running for 5 weeks. American strike sorties have hit over 2,000 targets across Iran. The goal, according to White House statements, was to degrade Iranian military capability to the point where the regime either collapses or sues for peace. 5 weeks in, the Iranian regime is still standing. The supreme leader's son, Moshtaba Khamenei, is consolidating power. Iranian missile strikes continue hitting targets across the Gulf. And now, Iranian air defenses are shooting down American aircraft faster than replacement crews can be trained. The Pentagon is facing a problem it hasn't confronted since Vietnam. How do you sustain an air campaign when the enemy's air defense network is intact, improving and killing your planes? The answer historically has been overwhelming saturation, using so many aircraft that even a high attrition rate doesn't stop the mission. But the U.S. no longer has the aircraft numbers to execute that strategy. The Air Force operates roughly 450 F-15 variants across all models. Losing even a dozen aircraft to enemy action becomes a significant capability reduction. Iran, meanwhile, has thousands of surface-to-air missiles spread across hardened sites, mobile launchers, and coastal defense batteries that are extremely difficult to locate and destroy. The strategic calculus gets worse when you factor in what's happening in other theaters. The U.S. is simultaneously supporting Ukraine with equipment and intelligence against Russia, maintaining readiness for potential conflict with China over Taiwan, and now prosecuting a full-scale war against Iran. American defense industrial production cannot keep pace with consumption. Missile inventories are depleting. Aircraft maintenance backlogs are growing. Pilot retention rates are dropping as experienced aviators leave the service rather than fly increasingly dangerous missions. The double shoot-down on April 3rd is not an isolated incident. It's a symptom of strategic overextension meeting technical parity, and Iran knows it. The IRGC released footage of the F-15 wreckage within hours, broadcasting it on state television as proof that American air power is not invincible. They published coordinates of the crash site and invited international observers to verify the kill. This is psychological warfare designed to demoralize American forces and signal to regional allies that the United States cannot protect its own aircraft, let alone provide air cover for partners on the ground. The broader implications extend beyond the immediate tactical loss. Every Gulf state hosting American military bases is now recalculating the value of that relationship. If U.S. aircraft can be shot down while conducting operations from their territory, those bases become targets for Iranian retaliation. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, all of them are watching American planes fall from the sky and wondering whether their alliance with Washington is worth the risk. Iran's 48-hour ultimatum to Gulf states, demanding they shut down U.S. basing access or face systematic destruction of their oil infrastructure, suddenly looks a lot more credible when American F-15s are getting blown out of the sky. The rescue mission failure adds another layer of horror to this. The A-10 pilot who died over the Persian Gulf was executing a mission that U.S. military doctrine says should be survivable. The Warthog is legendary for its durability. It's been hit by surface-to-air missiles before and made it home. On April 3rd, it didn't. That means Iranian missiles are either more powerful, more accurate, or more numerous than U.S. intelligence predicted. Probably all three. And it means that future rescue operations will require significantly more resources, more aircraft, more risk, and more time, all of which reduce the chances of successfully extracting downed pilots. So here's where we are. 2 American fighter aircraft destroyed in 8 minutes, 3 pilots dead or missing, over $120 million in direct losses, the first U.S. air-to-air combat casualties since 1991, and the operational revelation that American air superiority over the Persian Gulf is no longer guaranteed. Iran spent less than $5 million to kill $120 million worth of American air power, a cost-exchange ratio that the Pentagon cannot sustain. The rescue mission that should have saved the F-15 crew turned into a death trap that killed another pilot and lost another aircraft. And every American pilot flying missions in this theater now knows that if they get shot down, the rescue might not come, or worse, it might come and get killed trying to reach them. This is not a war the United States is winning in the air. This is a war where the most technologically advanced air force on Earth just lost 2 planes in 8 minutes to a regional power that's been under sanctions for 40 years. The question nobody in Washington wants to answer is simple. If Iran can do this on day 35 of the war, what can they do on day 70? Share this video with everyone who still thinks American air superiority is untouchable. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the U.S. can regain control of the skies, or has the Pentagon just lost the air war over the Persian Gulf? Let me know what you think.